And the players changed. They started to change. They started to question a lot of things.
It was a time of turmoil. Battles raged abroad, and confusion and questioning consumed our country. Then, finally, the one last frontier for innocence fell victim. Sports. The late 60s marked the start of a different kind of fight on the football field. Between young, idealistic warriors and the wealthy establishment who owned them. It would change the game forever.
We came through the 60s, the Vietnam War, and all the different things that were happening on the campuses that there were certain things we were not going to stand for.
You can't go work someplace else because they own your rights in perpetuity? Bullshit.
Well, the primary demand is freedom for the athlete, and this is the first time that any sports organization has said that an athlete, like other citizens, should be totally free.
It may be hard to believe in today's context that money was not the most important thing to the players at that time. It really was the question of dignity.
For the NFL's first half-century, players played for the love of the game, and team owners were regarded as paternalistic figures. But in the late 60s, hippie players and militant blacks saw tyranny in ironclad contracts and oppression in dress codes.
There's something happening here, but what it is ain't exactly clear.
Anger reached critical mass in the summer of 1974, exploding into the first rebellion in sports history.
We feel like, this is a strong issue, and I'm 100% behind the union.
Time we stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
NFL owners took the strike as a personal insult and were outraged when the picket lines went up.
You would have thought that Attila the Hun had come to town, and I was there to rape, pillage, and plunder. It was beyond belief.
It was as if we were attacking religion in America. I mean, the idea that you would shut down the National Football League was just sacrilege.
We got 18 of them arrested that night, picketing outside Lambeau Field, and they took us down in the paddy wagon and booked us, and had us sitting around the jail until about 1 o'clock in the morning when the game was over and everybody was long gone, and then they released us.
I'm willing to negotiate and let you go.
In a sport that demanded obedience and loyalty, striking players had to defy authority for the first time in their lives.
It was the first time that I'd ever been put in a situation where it ended up so openly antagonistic with a coach. Don Coryell was most unhappy that this strike was happening. All he knew was he was trying to coach a football team, and his football team was out walking a picket line. But yet it made he and I adversaries.
The strike lasted 2 months and achieved none of the players' goals. The owners had won.
So a Ken Bowman or a Pat Richter or a Kermit Alexander, I mean, these guys are real heroes because they believed that they should sacrifice their own future to help the younger players coming along. There should be a section in the Canton Hall of Fame for those who really showed the character to take on the most powerful monopoly in the national football, in the country really, certainly in sports, and take the lead.
You're not thinking about or concerned with, is what I'm doing courageous or anything else. It's the right thing to do, and so you do it.
We really felt like we were responsible for what was going to happen to players in the next generation and the generation after that.
While the battle may have been lost, the 74 strike served as an awakening for the players.
What I learned from the strike is that the owners certainly are very truthful with you, and that it really slapped you right in the face that they really don't care a lot about you, that they just are trying to be concerned. They're just concerned about how that's going to affect them financially.
You know, I find it somewhat strange that we do call them owners, and they probably find it quite refreshing and quite ego-boosting that they own all these millionaires today.
Thought that buddy ball smash everybody in the mouth. They rock their world, big dogs.
Some of the rebels who started it all think the pendulum has now swung too far, hurting the game.
I like this kind of party!
And they wonder if the fight for freedom was worth the price they paid.
I think there's a lot of fans that are mad about how much money's going around. This is just a bunch of hired guns. Deion Sanders, whoever's going to give him the most money, he'll go there and play. A lot of these guys will get on that attitude now. That's not what we wanted.
When you have free agency and players can move on their own, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, you lose that feeling you have for your team, you know, that it's really a team and it's not a group of individuals. Now we have a group of individuals.
There's not much to strike over anymore, is there? You wonder what it would have to take to get the players to take a walk now. I think the word rollback would have to come into play.